All right, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am your host, Jonathan Morrow. I am here with my other host, Alex.
Just hands. We can do it now. We have a video camera.
We do have a video camera now, finally.
Maybe most future episodes should have a video
Should
camera.
have a video cam.
Keyword is should.
Should. Yeah. So, all right. This is our...
This might be a little bit of a longer one.
Maybe. Yeah, this one is really, really important to us.
And I hope...
Because we want to gain the parents' trust.
I hope everybody in the dojo watches this at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe not when it comes out.
Maybe
a year
and
after.
then for future instructors too, this is going to be really important to tell your parents as well.
Yeah.
This is really, really important to us because it's really hard for us to gain trust between parents. Because what we do, we've been doing it for a long time. Of course, don't get us wrong, we're still learning, but we've been doing it for a while now where we understand how things work. We're able to observe things. We're able to see the kids' body language. Yeah, so we're not going to try and laugh a lot in this one because it's a very, very serious topic.
Yeah, I mean, there will be giggles thrown around.
Once in a while.
I'm a giggly person.
But I hope, the message that we're trying to say here, we're not trying to insult anybody. We're not trying to throw anybody under the bus. We're not trying to badmouth anybody. It's just one of those things where we hope we understand what we're trying to say here and sort of respect.
Anything said in this episode is not meant to pour fire on the flames
or
anything like that. It's meant for us and hopefully the people watching this to understand what we're teaching, why we're teaching it, understand what you need to help with, right? Because, they're not our kids.
Yeah, we treat them like they're our kids.
We do. But it's not like they come home with us every night and we put them to bed. No, we don't do that.
No, we don't.
Unfortunately, hopefully not for another few years.
Yeah, so this episode is about what you as a parent need to know at our karate school and maybe a lot of other good karate schools as well, and what you should expect from a martial arts school maybe.
Yes.
Because there are some martial arts schools out there that are very, very old style, and it's just a lot of punching and kicking and beating each other up.
Yeah.
And then of course our school we don't really have that, but there are cases where there needs to be a little bit of contact and needs to be some physical activities going on.
Sometimes there needs to be fighting between students,
maybe
sparring,
but that's in a healthier environment where it's safe.
Obviously you're not. There's protection in sparring. You got gloves, you got helmets, chest protectors, shin protectors, right? You're not going out there
to hurt each other.
Yeah, you're going out there to learn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's start with the first thing.
Do you want to start? Or you want me to start? Because I'm going to start off kind of with the rules of the dojo we use in class.
In class? Okay, go ahead and start. We'll have you start.
So, first rule of the dojo. What did all the kids say? Safety! Right? So in our dojo, it is very key for everybody to stay safe. We are not there to maliciously hurt your child. We're not there to teach your child to hurt others. We're not there for to watch other kids hurt your child. Right? It's very important for us to teach good karate, right? And teach kids how to defend themselves, though. So those tactics maybe eventually might have to be used maliciously, might have to be used in a self-defense situation, right? The reason you might start your kid off in karate, right? Maybe you heard they're getting bullied at school, right?
Possibly.
Your child might have to use his karate education to protect himself at school, right? But we are not teaching that kid to go hunt down that bully and go beat the crap out of him. No, that is not what we teach at this karate school, right? We are here for the safety of your children. We are here for teaching your children good karate, good basics, how to be a good person. Okay? I want to lay that out flat very first. If sometimes it happens where instructors aren't there and stuff like that, and things happen, but it's not because we don't care. It's because we have maybe other business to attend to. Maybe we have to meet with other instructors, maybe meet with some parents. Things happen, right? Make sure you're watching your child too on the floor too. Like I said earlier, it's not we treat them like they're our child, but we don't go home at night with them and tuck them into bed. It's very important to us that that parents, that kids, that everybody understands that we are not here for malicious intent. So I think that's my first point, my first big encompassing thing.
I think that's really, really important. That was really good to lay out. But I think, where do I step where I'm not stepping on a landmine?
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to think, what should you expect? And the other thing that I'm going to talk about now is, this is strictly what we do. I'm not saying this is what other martial arts schools do. I'm not saying this is what other karate schools do. But for us, and I hope that other newer martial arts students that are trying to learn about this or try to make themselves better, take this to heart. Because when you're testing a child for their next belt, for their next stripe, if it's a different kind of martial arts school, that this is for us, and this is for how our karate philosophy is every kid is different. Every kid has their own different limit. Every kid has their own learning style. Every kid has their own personality, and we try to tailor ourselves to that kid and each and every kid. When we test this child, when we test our student, when we test your child, we are watching for something. It's not just because they know the content that they get the test, they get the next stripe, they get the next belt. There is always something else that we're looking at, whether it's, are they growing as a person? Do they overcome this fear? Do they overcome this challenge? Do they overcome something that makes them a better person? Of course, material is part of it. They have to know their requirements. But it is also important for us that they grow as a person and grow to be a better person, not a malicious person, someone that wants to help, someone that helps himself, someone that's confident, someone that's well-disciplined. All those things that are listed, we watch for those. We try to make the kids understand, make them kids grow like that. So when we push their kids to the limit during testings, because we're watching for something. I always tell my kids this, I hate seeing them suffer.
Yeah.
I hate it. But I know it's important, and really, really important for them to understand where their limit is and how that they can break through.
What you could say there's a healthy suffering and then there's an unhealthy
That is very
suffering.
true, definitely.
I know, it sounds awful.
But there's a healthy challenge and an unhealthy challenge.
Yeah, and everything we do for these kids, I would argue that it's very healtty for them.
We've gone through, it's not like we haven't gone through any of this. We've gone through it ourselves.
Anything we're doing in class is not, most of the time, a majority of the time, is not new stuff.
I think 98% of the time.
We're teaching things that we learned as a student, that we were taught to teach.
But we make it better. Don't forget that. We make it better all the time.
And we're learning to teach that in a better way, in a healthier way. But
at the same time, challenging as well.
Yeah. How did you get taught your stances? You want to go over that story?
Oh, jeez. Staying in shikodachi for minutes upon minutes. There was this one time where
the shinai.
Jeez. Yeah, that was just some old time trainings that we don't necessarily do, but if we have to, we'll pull them out.
Yours was.
Mine was definitely a little bit different.
Yours
than
was
most.
a lot more physically demanding and physically punishing, I would say,
and mentally challenging as well. Man,
than most.
There was a lot of reason for that. And what I try to do now is, because that was, I swear, sometimes I like to say I have PTSD from that.
Yeah.
It was traumatized for me at that age. But I'm trying to look back at that moment and really try to see, what did I learn from that? How did I become I think I became a better person from that.
Mm-hmm.
I became more mentally disciplined. I know where my limits are at. I try to push myself when I train or when I do things. But man, that was just traumatizing for me back then.
That may have happened to you. The thing is, we're never going to put your kid through that.
Not necessarily.
There's not, I wouldn't say there's no need. Sometimes there might be a need.
More likely than not, there will not be a need for any of that physically. Would you call it abuse?
No.
physically punishing.
Physically punishing. I
punishing.
wouldn't say abuse because we're not gonna beat your child.
No.
We're not gonna do anything like that. You know, we're going to push them right till the point they're very, very uncomfortable to where when they stand up, they want to fall over and say, "I'm done." You know, I want to see their breaking point, but I don't.
And it's not for necessarily for us, but it's for them to understand that it's all a mental game. If they can push themselves hard, and they should be able to understand, you know, how far they can go, what they can actually do. Because what we try to teach isn't physically. I mean, maybe for some kids it's the physical part. For some kids it might be. But majority of the time, it is always mental.
Yeah.
It is always the mental weakness that we try to help and improve. Because when you're out in the world, there are things that will just beat you down, whether it's school, whether it's people, whether it's your environment. And I still get stories from past karate students that are my friends, and they're like, I'm mentally strong thanks to this. I have a couple of military people that go in and like, that training at Gashuka was way worse than this. I mean, it is.
Karate is a physically demanding, physically challenging, mentally challenging sport. I wouldn't even call it a sport anymore. I
mean, there's a sport aspect to it.
I mean, tournaments and stuff like that.
It is a.
I don't know.
No, I'm not gonna go that far.
I mean, in some cases, it is worse. Like you just said, it is worse than military training.
It can be. You know? I don't know, but I think for us, of course, because we see your kid train, we watch them once a week, every month. I mean, however long you sign them up.
Usually, a lot of those kids up higher ranks more than once a week. We see them 2, 3.
And we know where their limit is. We know how they act. We get stories from parents on how they act at home, what they do at school. I mean, we try to understand where their limit is when we push them here and there. But I think as a parent, what you really should understand that what we try to do at our karate school and what you should try to see at other karate school is, what is my child gaining from this? Because it is not necessarily a sport that we're doing here. It's not where you're a football player and all you have to learn how to do routes, tackle, and then you're on the team. It is, we personally tailor ourselves to you guys. In a sense, it's not always personal, but we try to do our best to help your child become a better person, a stronger person. Discipline might be part of it, but we're not going to go out of our way to say you have to do this at home. That's not our job. But there's a certain point where we try to really push your child and make them a better person in a sense. Because we've had stories where parents came in and say, why did my child pass their test? Well, it's because they're missing this part in their as a person, as a
didn't pass
student.
their test.
Didn't pass their test. I mean, we've had a lot of those, but lately we've been talking a lot more in our classes on why you fail or why you pass, or what you need to do as a person.
Specifically, I like to talk about challenging things.
Yeah.
You know, I always make one of the things I like to do is I love watching kids do challenging katas, because some kids, just a challenging kata can break them.
Yeah,
they just give
up.
If
you do it the right way.
If they give up, they give up and then just stand there and just look like they've utter defeat in their eyes, you know.
And it is really important for them to learn what failure is.
Yes.
And this is a really safe environment to know what failure is, because you're not losing anything when you fail in our karate school, our karate dojo. I mean, there really isn't anything to worry about when you fail. I mean, if your child doesn't like to fail, then I think it's more important for them to learn how to fail.
Yeah.
Because when you get to actual adulthood and fail, because I failed before and it's hurt me a lot in a sense. I had my own failures out here, but I learned how to deal with it. I know how to cope with it. And failing at a karate dojo is really, really important because it's really safe. Man, it is, because I hope you guys as parents or as future instructors or educators can learn from this, because is it important to feel bad for your student or your child when they fail? Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but you can't save them. They have to learn how to cope. You can help them cope with it. You can help them teach them how to cope with it when they're at home. But you as a parent as well need to learn what is coping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important to understand that part of it. Man, it is, because I learned how to cope with things now. Of course, stress is really hard to cope with, but you learn to sort of go with it. You learn to take it step by step. I mean, I've learned my way of coping with stress is different than other people's. Alex's way to learn to cope with stress is different than other people. But it's hard. It is hard, and as a parent, it's probably really hard to watch, them.
It's not fun to watch your child go through something that's physically difficult,
mentally challenging.
I mean, there's stories. I have a story. My mom, during my black belt test, pacing back and forth the entire time.
Because as a parent, you're devoted just as much as your child.
You want to support your child, and you want to make sure they are safe. They grow up safe. They make sure nothing ever bad happens. You want to be, in lack of a better term, a helicopter parent, which not exactly, but you want to make sure your kid is safe. You want to be there to cover them from anything bad that might happen to them.
There's a point where there's a limit to that.
But obviously there's a difference between helicopter parents and people that care for their kid.
Now, some of our listeners and viewers might be saying things like, "You guys aren't even parents. You guys don't know." We teach a lot of 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. I used to teach everybody from 4 all the way up to adults.
Yep.
So I like to say I had plenty of my own kids in the karate program. I seen kids grow up from 4 years old until they're 12 now.
Well, I'm teaching kids now that were born in the dojo, that I've known,
I am too,
that have been in the dojo from the time, like 2-3 weeks old. They came into the dojo screaming like a small child because they were a small child. Yep. They are now taking karate, and they're doing fantastic.
Yeah, and the parents understand that what we do is healthy for the student. Of course, if there's injury and anything like that, we try to take care of it as well. So, I mean, if allowing to trust the instructor and what they're doing is really important, but at the same time, asking questions is good too. But there's a fine line between asking questions and maliciously asking questions. Because if you're starting to ask, why didn't my child pass, then we're starting to lose trust there. If you're asking like, is it because of this technique or this thing? I'm like, yes, but there's also other things that are behind it. And a lot of it has to do with your child. I mean, it is really important for you guys to trust us to see that your child is possibly need to fill this weakness in for a lot of things. So it's really important that you let us push your child to an extent. And now some of you guys are probably asking us, what can we do at home to help our child?
I think helping your child at home, it's something that's very important, but at the same time, it's not a necessity when you're younger.
When you're younger.
When you start getting up into those orange belt, blue belt, purple belt ranks, then it becomes very important you start practicing at home, because you start learning a lot more things. There's a lot more things you start learning when you get to that rank, and not all of it can be picked up during class.
There's a lot of things that we teach, a lot of things that we might have to skip over because everybody else in the class needs to know this or we didn't have time. But best way to help your child at home, in my opinion, is not necessarily forcing them, because then they're going to hate it even more. There's an extent where you have to persuade them and have them do it, at least, but there should be a compromise between things. And if you force your kid to work at home, they're going to hate it even more. But like I said, there is an extent to it all. But yeah, quick break here and then a word from some people.
This episode is brought to you by our Patreon. You can find all that content at www.patreon.com/WMAKP.
On our Patreon, we have exclusive content on every single tier. On our yellow belt tier, which is $5 a month, gives you the episodes 3 days early. And then on our green belt tier, not only do you get the episodes early, you also get the deep dive episodes. So that pretty much entails everything that, we need to dive a little bit deeper in. So such as the advice we give out at the end of episode, or, something like on Twitter where you want us to go in a little bit deeper, we'll do it on here on Patreon. And then our last tier, which is our black belt tier, so you get the exclusive content, you get the deep dive episodes. You also get exclusive content. You see how I put double exclusives? Yeah. So pretty much that exclusive content gives you new skills, new ideas, new activities, or, just to understand things a little bit better. That will be on our Patreon on our black belt tier for $20. Thank you for your support for future episodes. Now on with the episode. Okay, I'm glad you guys welcome back. And by the way, we got our little mascot here. Let me switch it to this camera here.
Hey, look at that.
So that's our little mascot there.
Yeah, I think he is in every camera frame.
He is in
awesome.
Every
Hey,
camera
just barely.
frame.
I mean, so is your iPad. Can that be our mascot next?
Thanks for sticking with us. This is a tough subject to really talk about.
Especially like you said earlier, we don't have our own kids.
We don't have our own kids, so I mean,
we haven't gone it through, all the
from
things
0 to.
We haven't done all the things
No.
parents listening to this, or parents in general, have done to help their kids succeed,
And we're not telling you how to raise your child.
Please,
that is not what we're trying to do. This is what we're doing at the karate school to help your child, and then some things that you might be able to help your child back home. And then the other thing is, it really has to do with, are you devoting your time as well as a parent to help your child? It's not necessarily what you can do at home, but are you there to support them at the karate school? Are you sitting down watching as well? Or, a lot of those things. Are you learning with your child as well? We have a couple of very good parents that come up to us and ask us, what does my child need to learn?
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing you can do is have your child go talk to a Team Storm member and have them help them as well. I mean, we try to have 15 minutes between classes, and that's always a good time for, Team Storm to help them, have them practice on their own. A lot of those things. So it's tough. Are you okay over there? Are you getting sleepy?
Yeah, I'm getting sleepy.
You're getting sleepy.
No, I'm fine.
No, fine.
Asking parents, do not be afraid of us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're there to help you. We're there to communicate with you, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
We're there to teach. We're there to. It doesn't matter if it's a 4-year-old or it doesn't matter if it's a 40-year-old. We are there to teach.
And then to an educator standpoint, I mean, as a karate instructor, we are educators.
Yeah.
We're not psychologists. We're not counselors, but we are educators. And then these things really do apply. Well, this more so what we're talking about applies to the martial arts side of everything. But here, as an educator, I just want to point this out: is if your student fails, is it because you didn't put your effort into it, or is it because they didn't put their effort into it? There has to be a good balance. And then if they fail, then you really have to talk to them. Why did they fail? Is it because of you? Is it them? Did they not turn in your homework? But at the same, you can't go out of your way to help them either. They have to come to you, and you guys have to compromise for something. And as an educator, it is really important to help them, to educate them. You are trying to really help them learn something, learn them about themselves. And in a school format, I know you guys have a lot of students that go through your doors in your classrooms here and out. But to those kids that are really trying hard and still not working hard, still not, passing the class, or they have low grades and they're working hard, I think it's important for you as an educator to go help them as well, to help them and know that there is a teacher, there is a parent that is willing to support them.
That cares.
And then this goes back to the martial arts instructor side of things as a parent as well, is that, are you devoted as well, or is it that you're dragging your child? And then taking a break is good too, right? Taking a month off, taking a week off, anything like that. But man, it is, because burnout's real. And as a parent, you probably get burnout as well, taking your child to karate all the time. But I think in that aspect, I think this might be a good way to end it, just like that. I think.
How far are we gotten?
How far?
Well, we got 24 minutes. We're at 24. I mean, like I said, this might be a longer episode, which is fine.
Which is
you
fine,
know?
or it might be shorter because there's a lot of things that
I
we've been
would
talking about.
Also,
so.
I would highly recommend watching this on YouTube so you can get the visual part of it.
Visual part of it where
Yeah.
we're using a lot of hand motions.
Yeah, because we use a lot of hand motions. I don't know why we talk with our hands.
We're really passionate about what we do. I just really want to, because for me, just a little backstory on myself real quick. I graduated college. I hated school. I really did hate school. I never liked school. I never liked the learning part of school because I had to sit down and be in front. I think I might have a little bit of ADD or something like that, possibly.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I just have to do things and then learn, and then I have to do things and learn. But school was never my forte. Karate, I just loved karate. Of course, it changed. You know, there's parts of me where I hated it, but there's cases where I was burnt out. I didn't want to teach anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I got tired, so I moved out. Moved to Japan for a little bit. Had to come back because of COVID. But during that time of COVID, I had this realization, this aha, you know, whatever you want to call it, that I love teaching.
Epiphany.
There you go. Thinking epiphany. It's one of those things where I'm very passionate now. I put every ounce of myself to the kids. Even if I didn't want to be out there, I still put every ounce of myself to those kids. And sometimes, you know, you feel betrayed because then the next thing you know, the kid leaves and won't ever come back, and you're just like,
That
dang it.
sucks. Yeah.
I tried. I tried.
Yeah.
And then you learn from your mistakes and everything else. And I'm willing. I can't necessarily fail as much as the kids can do in class right now, because I got a lot riding on this. You know, as a black belt instructor, as an educator, you got a lot more eyes on you, got more things on your shoulders. But I think for us, as long as we're passionate and we try our best and we talk our talk and walk our walk.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important that we do those things, and then I think the parents can tell that we're really passionate.
Yeah.
About what
I
we do.
I hope all the parents know that we're not there for ourselves anymore.
No, I mean, unless it's tournament stuff, then we're there for ourselves.
Yeah,
No,
unless
I'm
it's
kidding.
I mean,
Part of it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we're training. Sometimes we
And
are
then
there.
we're there for ourselves when we're training, of course.
I mean, even while we're training, we're still thinking.
we're trying to motivate everybody else.
Yeah. Why are we training?
Yeah.
You know, I want to teach better in class. I want
Mhm.
more material to
Yep.
teach in class.
Definitely.
You know. So, but a lot of the time we're not there for ourselves anymore,
Mm-mm.
which is kind of a realization of I care about the feelings of other people more than I care about my own feelings. Maybe that's why I don't take any breaks. That's why I'm so at the dojo so much.
It's important
Because
to take breaks, Liz, because of that realization, because we pour so much of our soul into teaching. It's just that we have to learn how to take a break. I'm actually trying to plan a trip to Bali in January with a good friend of mine from Japan. But it's just one of those things where...
Hey, I got my organ trip coming up next few weeks.
There you go, right?
Woohoo!
Vacation is really important to take a break for us, because we literally pour everything we can into the projects that we do for the dojo, to teaching the kids, into the events that we do. It's tiring.
Yeah.
But the faces that we get to see of your kids succeeding, seeing them grow up to a better person, seeing your child improve and have a smile on their face is beautiful to us. We love every moment of that. And then, at the same time, it breaks our heart that much more if something bad happens or we notice something going on.
One more time, I want to stress that we are not there to teach a kid to be a malicious person. We are not there to teach anything to be used maliciously.
We guide them to become a better person. We might give them some thorns to run into, but we guide them to be a better person, because those thorns will make them grow stronger.
What you could say is we give them something to feel safe, almost.
Yeah,
you know?
we give them a safe place. That's really important.
We give them somewhere to feel safe, somewhere they know, like, all right, if I go here, I'm going to be 100%, and I know my day most likely will get better.
There might be times where they're going to be like, crap, this was hard today.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like for me, hard training, I always hate it when some people teach. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be so hard today. I'm going to be sweating a lot. But then after I'm done, I'm just like, I feel better.
Yeah.
I feel good now. So, I mean, it's really important for us as parents that are listening to us, as fellow educators or instructors, that we are trying our best. of course, we are human as well. We have our times where we learn to have fun as well.
Yep.
We have our times where we're really invested. We have our times where we just relax and be lazy sometimes. But we try to train. We try to stay in shape. I try to stay in shape. Alex is trying to be back into shape.
I'm trying to get out of being a shape.
But I think as instructors and educators, kids can see through you if you're not being genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And we try our best to be genuine. We try. Of course, there might be times where just like, okay, I need to get into the zone here.
Yeah. And then, is that your last point?
Yeah, that's it for me right now.
I mean, you also brought up, which we can't skip over since you did bring it up.
Okay, I'm listening.
What your parents could do at home for the kids. What
Did we go over some points?
Or
was it one side? Or was that one side?
You said one thing, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go over that.
Okay, so I think we did go over it. Like you said, don't force it at home.
Yeah.
No.
And then I also said be supportive as well.
Know what your kid is trying to learn. There's some parents that come in that know the content better than their kids, which I always think that's awesome.
That's so cool to see.
I think that's awesome. I'm so excited that parents are so invested in it, because it's not every day you get a parent that comes in and does that.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's not every day you get a parent that comes in and is so excited about something their kid is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like not. I guess I wouldn't call this is not a normal sport.
No, it is by far
something
the furthest thing from normal.
It come out of nowhere. You know, maybe the dad was, or maybe the parent was raised on football. You know, for their entire life, and seeing them get into something like karate and getting so invested into it and getting so excited
because they realize the benefits that come from it. This is especially. It's not. I'm gonna just point this out. Not all martial arts schools are like this.
You won't get benefits from every single one.
No,
you won't get. Yeah.
But ours, we like to just point this out, is very special in the sense of this stuff where we try to help everybody. We try to accommodate to the parents. Of course, we are very stern about things because we have to. Because guess what happens when you give a mouse a cookie? They want more. They want another cookie, right? So we have to be stern about things, about specific things. But I think it's helping your child at home is really important. Understanding what they need to know is important. Not forcing them is important, and having their support, having the child having your support is really important as well. But it can't be a one-sided support either. The child has to understand, and they want to continue training, because we can see when a child doesn't want to train anymore, and it's hard for us because we know that child, we know that parent is wanting this for their child, but the child doesn't want it anymore, and there's a point where you have to say stop and have a discussion with your child.
Yes.
About
ask them if they want to continue.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course, there are times where you as a parent have to say, no, you have to continue this for this many lessons, and then say, okay, after this many, then you can stop, or after this age, you can stop. I won't force you anymore. I think that's what actually my dad did to me.
That's what my parents did to
me.
me.
After this age, because I started when I was 3, and then my dad said, when you turn 13, you could be totally done with karate. You don't have to do anything with it. When I turned 13, I'm still here, guys. I'm still here.
Mine was 15 years old. You can be done.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't left.
Yeah. So it's
and then
No, go ahead.
We have one last point. I mean,
okay.
It's it's kind of relating back to the parents that know the stuff better than the kids, knows the content. Parents, if you want to do karate, do karate.
Yeah. Oh, and you can ask us for lessons too. Actually, if you want lessons, you have to start from the beginning like everybody else. Yeah. And then we'll try to accommodate you, and then create a class so there's more than just you.
There's been talk about a class.
There has been for adults,
and I think there's one parent that's gonna come that I'm very excited about. That if you start competing again, this parent's gonna join.
I forgot about that.
If you start competing again,
I will be competing again.
Yes.
I will be competing
then
again.
This parent will join for the September class. So it's pretty exciting. And I think Sensei is going to be leading that.
I think Sensei will be, Sensei will be leading that.
I think it'll be a little bit of all of us probably is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, we might all take over at some point.
At some point, just give different teaching styles.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that's really good to end it off that.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we went over. Hopefully, you guys try to digest this the best you can.
Yeah, we're at 34 minutes,
Yeah,
so
34.
it's not too much longer
No,
than
not
most.
too much longer.
But, you know,
This is really important to us that you guys understand what we're trying to do here. I mean, because
I mean, I
a
hope.
lot of it is we're not trying to keep this stuff a secret. We just don't have time to tell every single parent, every class, because there's just so much to go over. So thank you, parents, for trusting us. Thank you, parents, for understanding. Future educators, future instructors, current educators, that there are points where you have to put your foot down, or there are times where you just have to talk about things and do those things. But thank you so much for listening, guys. And of course, I have to plug this in. If you guys have any further questions or any further things you guys want us to talk about, DM us on Instagram at WMAK Pod, on Twitter at WMAK Pod. We also have this one that you're watching right now for the video viewers. This is our YouTube. We got also Spotify, Amazon Music.
5 different ways.
5 different ways. And then we also have
excuse.
Facebook at World of Martial Arts Karate Podcast as well, where you do highlights and small clips.
6.
6 things. So I'm thinking of making a TikTok. No, never mind. I won't do a TikTok.
No.
Nope. I changed my mind.
No.
But anyways, thank you so much, parents and other listeners, viewers, for listening to this and watching this. This was a very serious topic for us.
Like I said, I hope if one parent listens to it, I hope they pass the word on and tell other parents to listen to it, because I think it is a very important topic.
Yep. And then I want to point this I really want to stress this out, that not all martial arts schools are like this.
No.
Not all instructors, not all educators are like this as well. So you have to be a good judge about this, and about the martial arts school, karate school, taekwondo, kempo school you're going to. So anyways, thank you so much for listening to this, watching this, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Oh, one more thing. We do have a Patreon to help support us for future endeavors, making a better place, better things to happen, more content, and then hopefully in the future.
Doesn't look like. I mean, this is a W.
It is a W. It looks pretty good.
Which
doesn't look bad.
honestly,
The black.
you can tell it's a W.
Yeah.
But once we get a black ring around it, it'll look a lot better.
maybe.
Or we can just get lights around it.
Maybe get lights. Who knows?
I think that would be a lot cheaper.
But thank you so much, and thank you for supporting us. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on all the platforms.
Yeah.
See you guys in the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.
Later.